my feelings about this and why I think this is going on and things like that. And we're discussing what I am calling Monster Hunter Title Update 2.5. So, if you've not been on social media over the past few days, I'm recording this on the 31st of July. They announced on, I believe, the 29th, like this past Tuesday, they announced this. They dropped this little lore thing. And yeah, we're going to just get right into it. They dropped this right here, right above us. Future planned updates. They are moving, as you can see, new level quest difficulty and new reward systems for talismans from Title Update 3 to the next update that they are planning with weapon and balance adjustments on August 13th. That update, that August 13th update, was originally supposed to be within the next couple of days, but they have had to push back that update, and they are now adding a talisman system or the talisman reward system with new quest difficulty level. Um, this means they're listening to us. That's what I feel. I feel they're finally listening to us. They're listening to our complaints about the game, the fact that there's no end game, the fact that there's no real reason to play the game after we get to a certain point. At like, I have all the Ardean weapons I need. There's nothing I'm really getting at this point. There's not really much of a reason to continue to hunt the monsters that we're hunting. There's nothing big enough for us to hunt. There's nothing really pulling people back, and people are complaining about it. The difficulty of the game is not as hard as it could be or should be, and they are listening to us. Unfortunately, we're still not getting like better optimization. That's going to be a hard thing to do. I was discussing this on one of my podcasts and while live on stream. It's going to be really hard for them to fix the optimization based on how the game runs, because the game is running with the Resident Evil engine, Resident Evil 2 specifically, Resident Evil 2 Remake, how Mr. X was always on map and was always walking around even if you weren't near him. That's how this game works. So, unless they can find a way to better run that system behind screen and not have basically everything loaded at once, the optimization of this game is not going to get much better than what it is. And honestly, even since launch, it has started running worse for me than it was at launch. If you watch my streams, if you watch some of my gameplay, you see how like textures don't load in properly. My freaking Sacred, his eyes will pop in before the rest of his body, and he'll just look like a triangle as a face and stuff like that. It's funny, it's goofy, but it shouldn't be that way this far into launch. They should have a better way of running these things, but because of the way they built this world, it's not really going to run that way, so I don't think it's actually going to be optimized until the expansion release, which sucks. But they are listening to us in an extent that we're complaining and saying there's not really much for us to do. There's not a lot of content. They're not releasing enough content in on time, that they pushed forward some new content releases that we were supposed to be getting on Title Update 3. What does that mean? Well, besides the new content, it means maybe they're going to start giving us more. Maybe Title Update 3, which I'm still dubious because it says fucking monster and not monsters, whereas previous updates said monsters. Maybe they'll release 2 or 3 monsters instead of 1. Or maybe we'll get. I don't know. Like, Title Update 3 right now is now going to be disappointing because we're going to get Arc Tempered Nuudra, which we won't get Arc Tempered Nuudra for a month later. And we're gonna get 1 monster, as far as we know. Who knows what they're gonna actually drop for us for Title Update 3? But maybe they're gonna start rolling out these updates sooner. Maybe we're gonna start seeing more from this game. Now, why do we think they're doing this? Well, they've been releasing out those surveys, and if you've been answering those surveys, you'll know that like a lot of people aren't happy with the current life cycle of the game, as well as the game is getting review bombed on Steam. Let's see. Let's look at our Steam reviews real quick for this game, and I'll pull that over for you in a second to see it as soon as I find it. The store page right now, if we look at recent reviews for Monster Hunter Wild, overwhelmingly negative. Overwhelmingly negative. This is the worst performing Monster Hunter in the world, and it's their highest selling launch title. Like, highest selling title at launch. and that at launch is a specific. You need to look at that at launch for a second. But like they have been getting trashed in reviews. I don't know. I know there's a. I don't. I know there's potentially. Here we go. Here's the graph. Look at this. It has been since July 2nd. Just been getting consistent negative reviews for lack of content, for lack of optimization, for making it relatively unplayable at times, and I get it. So they're understanding that people aren't getting the game. They're not really able to play the game as much. So they're like, we got to figure something out. We got to fix this. We got to find some way to do this, fix this. The other reason that I believe they're doing this is there was this post on Reddit. This is their quarter one results or their fiscal year 2020 or financial year 2025, the last 6 months of 2025's financial year results, and the lifetime sales. Monster Hunter Wilds isn't selling that much better than most of the other games that they have over the course of the last couple of months. A lot of their games, Devil May Cry, the Resident Evils, those sales have been boosted recently. That's what this chart is saying. Their sales have been boosted recently by the Devil May Cry anime that was released on Netflix, Street Fighter releasing on Switch 2, and then new Resident Evil games and things like that being released and announced. That those game sales have been outselling their number one game right now, their game that they're trying to push people to buy greatly. Like look at this bottom of the list. Wilds is just isn't even really outselling Rise or lifetime units. Rise is outsold it by 17,000 or something like that. I by 1,000 units, so 17,564. That's like 17 million, or I don't really know I don't 100% fully understand this chart, but I know that Wilds barely outsold Rise over the last 6 months or so. That Resident Evil 2 Remake, a game that came out, what, 10 years ago? Something like that? Not even? Not really. Like 7 or 8 years ago, has outsold Wilds. Devil May Cry 4, all of these other games have outsold Wilds over the last couple of months since the game has released. That is why they're doing this. They're feeling it. They're feeling that like our big game, our game that we're trying to get people to buy, no one's buying because A, it doesn't work, and B, there's no content to play. And people aren't happy with it. So no one's going to come join it if people aren't happy with it. That's what this whole chart is really saying. They have another slide. Regarding catalog titles, although sales were soft for Monster Hunter Wilds, the latest title in the series released in February of this year, Monster Hunter Rise, a previous title in the game series, continued to see sales growth. Moreover, following the announcement of the latest titles of flagship Resident Evil series in June, sales of titles of the same series continued to grow, led by Resident Evil Village and Resident Evil 4. Additionally, efforts to enhance brand value through building wider awareness of the company's IPs resulted in strong sales of Devil May Cry 5 and other titles, driving sales of catalog titles to 13.36 million units from 9.26 million units sold in the same period of the previous year. Um, yeah, old titles are outselling their newest title. No one's buying their newest title because no one's able to really play it effectively. It's getting a review bombed on Steam. I love the game. I love playing it, but I want there to be more. I wish there was more. There's not. There's a major lack of support. I've been over this already. But this feels like a win. This feels like a win. Is really what this is, and it's really what this video is about. It's celebratory, guys. We're winning against the developer. Like they are seeing our complaints and they're trying to do something about it. They're trying to make this game playable for the people who are playing it in hopes that maybe that will pull more people into playing it. That's what it feels like to me. That's what it seems like. I would love to say to people, hey, you should all play this game. But if somebody were to ask me right here, right now, what Monster Hunter game should I play, I'd still tell them to go back to World. I'm sorry, but I would say, hey, I've been wanting to play Rise lately, but let's go back to let's play some World. Like World is probably the best fit. There are so many quality of life changes that they made to Wilds that I will miss out in World, but World is actually a very good game. Rise, in my opinion, was also very good. It got better in Sunbreak. It like the end game loop was kind of rough, but it had the same problems at launch on Rise that Wilds is having. They did not have a full complete game with a full complete end game with a full complete final boss. Now, maybe eventually we'll actually get to that point in Wilds. Hopefully, it's not right before the expansion comes out. Hopefully, we can get it like like within the next 6 months. Maybe by the end of the year, we have an end game boss. I don't think we're going to get that because it's a lot of story content, but hopefully by a year after launch we'll have something. But I expect Monster Hunter Wilds expansion to come out next December, December 26th. Um which like that's kind of a kick in the teeth. It's like just barely 2 years old when the expansion comes out, but just barely a year and a half old. Actually, no, it would be a year and a half old would be August of next year. So a year from now. So yeah, like that's probably around when we'll get the expansion. And it's gonna feel a little rushed from here on out unless they start adding more monsters. Because then if we get the expansion in August of next year, we absolutely know that they had nothing planned for us. Because by August of next year, if we're following the seasonal content update releases, by then is when we'll have just received and Jindahad Arc Tempered and potentially Gormagala Arc Tempered if we're gonna get a Gormagala Arc Tempered, or are they just instead of giving us a Gormagala Arc Tempered, are we just gonna get Shaggy? Like, is that going to be the first Elder in the game as a Shaggy at high rank? Which I think that would be a cool way to maybe wrap a little bit of this up. Like, instead of giving us Arc Tempered Gore, just give us Shaggy. That might be like a cool way to do Shaggy at least. Um, but I don't know how they're gonna do this. We'll have to get. We still need Jindahad Arc Tempered. We still need Arcveld Arc Tempered, and then whatever they're gonna do with Gormagala Arc Tempered, and then if maybe we're gonna get like an Arc Tempered or tempered version of uh um Zoshia, that would be pretty cool. Like at least give us a tempered version. But I mean, they also need to make Zoshia pop up more. It's look, I've gone over my problems with the game numerous times. I'm not gonna go over it again. But we just it's I'm counting this on the win column for Capcom realizing that they done goofed and fucked up. And they're trying to make it better. And I hope this pushes it in the right direction. I'm curious as to what these new weapon balances are going to be. I know bow gun users, are not happy with what's going on, especially if these harder quests are going to be more like the anomalies in Monster Hunter Rise and Sunbreak. If it's going to be like the anomalies, then there's not really going to be uh like a good way for gun users to use guns because it's just going to be inflated health pools, and gun users are already using up all their ammo on a tempered monster. Like most tempered monsters I fight with a gun user, like it was arc tempered Utuna, just boom before they even leave the first region, their ammo's gone. Like now I don't know if maybe just my DPS as a lance user was low, or if like I don't know. It's just I don't know. Hopefully they make things better with gun users. At least give them a bigger pouch. Let them carry more ammo or something like that. Honestly, like if I have a gun user using a mod to carry more ammo, I'm okay with it as long as it's not unlimited ammo. I'm okay with it. But at the same time, you let bow users have unlimited ammo. So why wouldn't bowgun users actually have unlimited ammo? That's like a level of balancing that they would need to figure out. Um, that's just beyond my ability to figure it out at the moment. But I just wanted to talk about this. I wanted to say how excited I am about this, and hoping that this starts to push the game in the right direction to where it can start to creep out of the overwhelmingly negative reviews and get back into the positive. It's the game's never going to be at 100%, at least until the expansion comes out. That's what I'm expecting, at least when it comes to optimization, but hopefully they figure out a way to better run this, and maybe they can fix it in the background to make the game run better. Because currently, if I'm playing that game, playing Monster Hunter, I can't do anything else. I can barely stream it. So they need to figure out a way to fix this, because it shouldn't be that power hungry. But like even World was that power hungry. Rise wasn't, I don't think, but World was. Um, but yeah, that's it. I just wanted to talk about that real quick. I appreciate you all so much. Um, if you like this, if you have any comments about it, if you want to talk about it, leave comments down below. I respond to all comments back if you want to talk about how excited you are about this change, if you think this is a move in the right direction, if you think the game is a flop and a failure and a loss and they're not going to be able to fix it. Let's talk about that down below. I want to hear your opinions about it, and maybe one of these days I can put together a list of comments about this game and I can respond to them on a video. Like the video so the algorithm knows that people like you will like me too. Subscribe to the channel so you get updates, notifications when I go live and post new videos. And like I said, leave comments down below. Also, check me out live both on YouTube and Twitch, and on TikTok Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. I appreciate you all. Please be careful, be safe, don't do anything I wouldn't do. Always hug your loved ones, and of course, like always, be sure to wear as much socks. We'll see you all.